4 days.
Yeah, about 4 days. You'll be stay tuned, stay in touch with Steven, Eddie. You got some things coming your way. All right, Candy's in the house. You got Shandy in the house. Welcome back, Shandy man. There you go. And we got Ben Troop who's going to be on for the duration. Great stuff, man. Looking forward to seeing his wild personality with that hat. And of course, we got Stephen Reichel. Let's get to the agenda because it is a loaded one. We're going to have some fun and compare some quarterbacks on this show. And we're going to begin with Bo Nix and John Elway. Through their first 25 starts in their career, Bo Nix ended up with 5,578 passing yards, 44 pass for touchdowns, 17 interceptions, 601 rushing yards. That's unbelievable. 16-9 record. On the other side with John Elway, one of my favorite people of all time, 4,345 passing yards to go along with 26 touchdowns. Again, mind you, his first 25 starts, 30 interceptions for John, 436 rushing yards, and a 16-9 record. Marvin, break it down. Which one of these two you like better, or just compare and contrast the two?
Yeah, John Elway is one of the all-time great quarterbacks to ever play, regardless of era. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback who has back-to-back Super Bowl wins. It's hard to compare a player like Bo Nix, so young, against a guy who is a legend and, to me, one of the best to ever do it. Keep in mind, I mean, obviously, John Elway played in the day of 21 personnel, a big, a nice tight end, a fullback, and he had a tailback. Okay. At the end of his career, it was Shannon Sharp, it was Howard Griffin, and it was Terrell Davis at running back. This guy played in a different day. They handed the ball off a lot more. He had the physical ability to play in any era. I mean, he would have been great playing in this era of 11 personnel where you got three wides and, just a one-back guy. He could have played back in the 60s with Lombardi. I mean, he's really that kind of player. We forget when he came out at Stanford, he was considered to be a generational player. When they talk about generational players, they always talk about John Elway just because he was the guy who you knew was going to be a hit. He was a hit at Granada Hills High School in the San Fernando Valley. He was a hit at Stanford. Then obviously his pro career speaks for itself. Had he chosen to go to a different school, let's say more of a football school, I mean, we're talking about championships at the college level. I mean, he was that kind of a player. Bo Nix is great. He's outstanding, great tools. He has over 60 starts in college, which really gave him an opportunity to come to the NFL early. You couple him with Sean Payton, who, took Drew Brees to the next level, and you see why his numbers are what they are. With that said, I think it's hard. It's way too early because we're talking about Elway, who won back-to-back Super Bowls in year 15 and 16. This is back before they had any protection for the quarterback. Okay, this guy was playing with concussions and all that in much different times. So, similar paths. It looks, early on, it looks like Bo may get some numbers on him in this new passing era, but we need to pull the brakes on really any kind of comparison at this point.
All right, well, you know what, Candy, go to the chat room real quick. I want to get any Prather's comments up early, and then we'll proceed. Go ahead, just start from the beginning because he's going to, let's see, we got, can't wait.
Hello, everyone. Very shocking coaching change today. Can't wait to read Ben's book. Elway is a top 5 all-time QB. Elway was as physically gifted as any quarterback ever. And then we had a hello.
All right. Well, you know what? I had an opportunity to work with John Elway myself covering Super Bowl 33. And the one question I got after he went out there and won the Super Bowl, aren't you glad that you didn't get drafted by the Baltimore Colts, that you hold your ground? That was one question nobody bothered to ask him. He gave me the biggest, nice, wide smile you can imagine, because obviously few people realize that John Elway, he was drafted by the Colts and forced his way out of Baltimore to land in Denver. And that's the one question I was able to get. In fact, I had some family members go ahead and tell me that they had heard me that day. It was kind of neat. But John Elway, to me, what everything that Eddie's saying is just unbelievable. It really is, because he's a gifted quarterback. Over to you, Candy, on this one.
This one, it's hard. Like Marvin said, it's so early. The difference is that I would say is offenses now are more geared towards the quarterback play. So he's in an offense that is built for him and for passing. He's more protected than Elway ever was. Elway was more of a runner, I think he had a better physical arm. His arm strength was legendary. He was a magician, and at times he made magician-like plays. Physical runner. He had to overcome a run-first offense. Mr. John did, whereas Bo is more calculated and operates in more of a modern pass-heavy offense that is built towards him, whereas John Elway made up the offense as he went and carried a less supportive offense. So, albeit very early, hard to compare the two. If you're going to ask me who I'd take John Elway any day of the week at this point.
All right, Tommy.
I won't say that Bo Nix doesn't belong in the same sentence with John Elway. I will say he doesn't belong in the same paragraph or the same page. Nobody knew if Bo Nix was going to be a star when he got drafted. Everybody knew John Elway was going to be a star.
Right.
He won back-to-back Super Bowls. He took 3 teams to the Super Bowl that were overmatched. They wouldn't have gotten to the Super Bowl without him. They were overmatched against the Giants, Washington, and San Francisco when the NFC was dominating the NFL. Elway is an all-timer. There was this Caleb, the Bears quarterback.
Caleb Williams.
Bears were the last team to have a quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards. When Elway played, if you threw for 3,000 yards, it was a great season. So there's no comparison to the games that Elway played and the game that Bo Nix is playing.
Don't worry. Since you like comparisons so much, I have another one I'm going to throw your way after this. All right, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one thing, I do my best to stay away from. I think sometimes when you start talking about why players don't have a shot to go out there and develop, it's comparisons. I don't think it's fair to a player like Bo Nix to be compared to an all-time great. Yes, Bo Nix was the first-round pick. John Elway was the number 1 overall pick. The number 1 overall pick ain't got nowhere to go but down. I mean, if you don't win MVPs, if you don't win Super Bowls, if you don't transcend the game or become a Hall of Famer, people consider you a bad player. No, Bo Nix got John Elway in the building to be able to go down there and talk to him, but it's hard to compare a lot of quarterbacks to John Elway, not just Bo Nix. I mean, it ain't going to be but a few names going to pop up because, as everybody been talking about on the panel, people always talk about what John Elway did as a thrower. Look at what he did as a runner. I mean, you go back to that Super Bowl, what was that? I mean, didn't he got hit and he got flipped, turned around? Now, yesterday's first Super Bowl was against my Falcons. We ain't gonna get into that. We ain't gonna talk about that. That's another show for another day. But John Elway was a different type of football player first and a quarterback second. I mean, Shannon Sharp is always talking about how great of a player John Elway was. I know everybody want to talk about Mike Shanahan, and Mike Shanahan is one of the greatest coaches. But you cannot talk about a great coach without talking about a great quarterback, period. Every last great coach had one thing in common. They had a great quarterback. And John Elway was great. He was not good. And it's not like he played when it was slouches in the league. There go Dan Marino, over there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you talk about these quarterbacks that was around him, and I think he was still better than most of them, if not all of them. Bo Nix is going to be a really, really good player because he's on a team that has a solid culture and foundation. He has a coach that seems to have cater to what he does, but it's something that Candy said. I mean, most offensive now going from high school to college and pro, they don't even get on the center. They stand there and slap their hands together. They snapping the ball. They throw. I remember when 50 throws was unheard of. You could throw 50 throws in week 3 in the NFL. That's a regular game now. So I like what Bo Nix is doing. But Bo Nix even said, listen, man, let's pump the brakes. Because, yes, if you play for Denver, you're going to be compared. Now, I'm just saying, but what about Jake Plummer? Let it be Jake Plummer first. How about that? Let it be Jake Plummer. Then we can start talking about John Elway, right? But Jake Plummer was pretty good, right? He was a good quarterback when he was there. He wasn't John Elway, but no one is. But it's high praise for Bo Nix because I will say this about Bo Nix. Everybody wants to talk about every other quarterback not named Bo Nix these first 2 years. They want to talk about Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams and Drake May, and I get it. Bo Nix has been in the league 2 years. He's been to the playoffs 2 years, and now they got the number 1 seed. You're not getting there, just listen, I mean, just like I just said, you're not getting to the Super Bowl without John Elway. Well, you're not getting the number 1 seed without Bo Nix. So I like what he's doing in year 2. I like the fact that he did it at 2 schools, like you mentioned, Marv. 60 starts in college means he's played a lot of football. Did it for 2 schools, by the way. Did it for Oregon. Dan Lanning did it down there with Gus Malzahn, I think, at the time. Down there with Auburn, and won an Iron Bowl against Nick Saban. So I don't think he's afraid of the big moment. But I will pump my brakes a little bit. I mean, I'm just saying, every first round quarterback that gets drafted, Jay Cutler, he played for Denver. Did they compare him to John Elway? No, never. They didn't compare Jake Plum. I mean, they compare Jay Cutler to John Elway one bit. But I think the thing about a guy like Bo Nix, when people talk about what type of quarterback do you want to build around, you build around a quarterback that your teammates believe in. All 52 dudes believe in that guy. So I stay away from the comparisons. I wouldn't compare John Elway Jr. to John Elway. I wouldn't. If he had a son, I wouldn't compare him to. I think you do your. Ken Griffey Jr. Yeah, he looked like his dad. Does Bronny look like LeBron? They look alike. They don't play alike. Leave that stuff alone. I'm just saying, leave it alone. But the one thing we love in sports is comparisons. Oh man, he reminds me of this. So he reminds me of that. I'm like, okay, but he can't run away from it now. We live in a very sensationalized, media-driven world to where anything that gonna get clicks, people gonna talk about it. But Bo Nix, man, put your head down, young man. Keep playing football. Keep having, keep doing what you're doing. But if he win a Super Bowl, maybe he can, maybe he can take John Elway out to dinner. I remember, Kobe Bryant, may he rest in peace. I remember Kobe said, "I'm not even gonna have dinner with Magic until I get my 5th ring. I'm not even gonna have dinner with him." I don't know if you got players like that now, but he got the number 1 seed. Everybody got to come through Mile High. So this is going to give him one. He's only a year 2. I'm pretty sure he'll be back in the playoffs from years to come. But compare Bo Nix to his daddy. How about that? His daddy played quarterback at Auburn. It's okay to do that. Compare Marvin to his dad. Don't compare a guy named Bo to a guy named John when one, I think, is from the South and the other one from LA. No. Let's not do that to the young man. Let him grow first. Let him grow first.
Well, I'm glad you like comparisons so much, because after we get done with that one, I got another one I'm going to throw your way. And if we have to get clicks, that means you sell more books. Remember that, my friend.
Yes, sir.
I'll get the clicks and I'll let you know. But I'm glad everybody's so enthusiastic about them. I'm going to feed off these clicks and comparisons, but we're going to let Rachel get a crack at this one.
I'm gonna go with Tom. I agree. Like we shouldn't be talking about Bo Nix in the same paragraph, book, whatever. When it comes to John Elway right now, and like I get it. Like that's what we do. We do lists. This is what we do when it comes to sports media, and as soon as we hit February 10th, we're already doing new quarterbacks lists and new this list. I get it, but like there's sometimes like listen, this is way too premature. Yes, Bo Nix has taken the Denver Broncos to the playoffs each of his first 2 years. I get that. But like this is one of those things like we don't need to be doing this to him yet, because these are the type of things that's like tears these guys down, because you're putting unnecessary expectations on top of these guys, but they don't need it. It's fun. It's fun for fans to do it, but when you have like your media members doing it on a consistent basis, and it's plastered all over ESPN and Fox Sports and all this other stuff, all you're doing is giving reasons for these guys to be compared to guys that, for some of these guys, they're never going to be able to stand in their shadow. But some of these guys that they have the proper mentality about it and be like, well, if that's what they're comparing to me more, that's my ceiling. That's what I could be. So I take it all with a grain of salt. But like this is what, when we're talking about inside of the first 2 years of a player's career, they should not be being compared to any Hall of Fame level quarterback. I don't care if they played in the same city, town, Pee Wee League. It doesn't matter. We don't need to sit there and do this.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Steve. You definitely are right about one thing. You don't like to compare them, but they've been doing it for years anyway. So since everybody liked the topic so much, I'm going to do another one. But keep in mind, one thing Bo Nix has going for him, he's got Sean Payton as his coach. And Sean Payton is one of the better coaches out there for sure. And let's not lose sight of the fact that he did win a Super Bowl. So obviously, when you've been there and done that, that's another story. South Florida Tribune, who are your top 5 quarterbacks that never won a Super Bowl? I'll tell you, I can list a couple off the top of my head. Dan Fouts would be one of them. I would say Fran Tarkenton has been another one. Dan Marino, without any doubt. Anybody else want to add to that list?
Warren Moon.
Warren Moon, okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Phillip Rivers.
Okay.
I'm gonna be an absolute homer right here. Donald McNabb, man, he carried a bunch of practice squad wide receivers to the playoffs 3 years in a row. Got gifted T.O. Owens, and we all know how that ended up. But I mean, he doesn't get the credit he deserves in this city. I talk about it all the time. So he's one of the guys on there. Dane Marino's absolutely. I mean, Marvin just hit one right on the head. Warren Moon. I'll even go even furthermore with I know somebody Marvin looks up to is Mr. Steve McNair.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, there we could sit there and talk about so many different quarterbacks with it. It's just. It's an unfair expectation. I hate the fact that we sit there and do this with championships. You know, the greatest quarterbacks have never won a Super Bowl. Well, they're still great quarterbacks. You know, the Super Bowl is the team award, not the player award.
Well, you got Jim.
How about Jim Kelly?
How about Carson Palmer?
I knew
That's
that was
fair,
coming.
right? Carson
Yeah,
Palmer.
No, it is.
That's fair. Yeah.
And Jim
Could you
Kelly.
imagine if Carson Palmer was on the Cincinnati's Bengals offense right now? He'd be in love.
Yeah. Candy, what did you say?
I said Jim
Jim
Kelly.
Kelly.
Oh, definitely Jim Kelly. Absolutely
Yeah.
Jim Kelly. Yeah.
By the way,
Randall
Earl,
Cunningham?
that's a great question, Earl. Great stuff, man. You just added a topic we didn't have. It's definitely worth it. Good stuff. Keep it up. Before long, you'll be on here with us too. How about that? Although he is fantastic in the chat room. Since everybody loves comparisons so much, I'm going to give you another one anyways. How does that sound? Okay, Drake May
Yeah,
versus-
you know, that's another comparison. Look at the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
What you had to beat to get to Super Bowls. Jim Kelly, Bernie Kosar, there were some great quarterbacks back then.
Well, they sure were. All right, so let's go to another comparison since everybody likes the topic so much. Drake May versus Tom Brady. Oh, I know Steve will go ballistic over this. Don't worry about it. You'll deal with it. First 21 starts this time. Drake May with 4,539 passing yards, 101.1 passer rating, 32 passing TDs, 14 interceptions, 679 rush yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, obviously. And then you can go ahead and look at Tom Brady. Okay, you have 46.76 in terms of overall yards, 87.0 passer rating, 33 passing touchdowns, 21 interceptions, and we've got 75 rushing yards, 4 TDs. And in Drake May, he was 10-11 his first 21 starts. Tom Brady, mind you, was 14-7. So pretty interesting comparison there. I know everybody likes him so much. So go ahead, Marvin. Let's have fun with this last comparison, and we'll go on to some other stuff.
The numbers themselves mean nothing to me. What separates Tom Brady from anybody, why it's so foolish to put him up against anybody, guy has 7 championships. He's had there was 7 times in his career where he was the common denominator with a championship team. And you know, football is quarterback driven. Okay, that's the bottom line. This guy did it. You know, over 2 decades, he did it at such a high level that anybody else who you talk about, Drake May, listen, it is. I can't tell you how disrespectful I think it is to put any comparison to Drake May and Tom Brady. Drake May looks cute out there. Okay, he looks cute doing his own thing. Tom Brady's the GOAT. You know how many men played this game? You know that Tom has to step over to be the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Drake May is on pace for a Pro Bowl year. They talk about maybe MVP and all that stuff is great, but you know we can't. I know they wear the same uniform, play for the same program, but we can't compare these two. Brady is the GOAT for a reason, and again, you know, you talk about all around. Lawrence Taylor, Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, Jim Brown. There are people who put Tom Brady over all of them in regards to the all-time GOAT great. So again, Drake May, man, you balling right now, but my man, you got a long way to go. You're closer to, are you as good as I don't even know a quarterback from the Patriots, Jacoby Brissett. Be Jacoby Brissett. See if you can be better than Cam Newton was, okay? Which I know you balling, but come on, man.
Well, here, Eddie Freitas is comparing Drake May to Drew Bledsoe is more logical, true. But let me just say the common denominator of all this. Number one, Josh McDaniels is the offensive coordinator for both of these guys. And obviously Mike Vrabel learned under Bill Belichick. So you've got a puncher's chance here at least. Yeah, obviously the rings speak for themselves. But nevertheless, you got one Patriots quarterback more or less trying to carry the torch with Josh McDaniels, who I don't think he'll want another head coaching job. I kind of think he's happy. Not that he wouldn't take it, but I haven't heard his name mentioned yet. I don't think he will. I think he's born to stay with New England offensive coordinator. What him and Mike Vrabel have going up there is really good. So, but again, May is the guy that they're looking to go forward with down the road, and Tom Brady obviously has made his signature on the franchise. Great point. So, all right, Candy.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to compare the two, but because part of the thing is Brady had such sustained dominance in his craft as a quarterback. Drake's only in his second year, has had great success, has really turned this team around, which is great. But 2 years compared to a whole career to Brady is hard. Does May have flashes of being? Could he be great? Yes, but it'll take no injuries or very few injuries to even get to be able to compare to Brady.
Okay. Tommy?
Here's how I'll put it. Bill Belichick was basically a 500 coach with the Browns. He didn't win until Tom Brady took over.
Right.
When Tom Brady was gone, they went downhill. Who's brought him back? Drake May. So the one thing I'll say about Drake May and Tom Brady is they've both made the Patriots winners with or without Bill Belichick. And, and I bring that up because it's just so absurd, talking about comparisons, to say Bill Belichick is the greatest coach ever. Vince Lombardi never had a losing season. And when he took over the Packers, they were one of the worst franchises in football. And Lombardi had Bart Starr, but he never had a Tom Brady.
Can count on you bringing back the old time perspective, Tommy. That's what's so great about having you on here. A cagey veteran that's seen an awful lot. Great stuff, Tom. All right, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, once again, Drake May getting compared to Tom Brady. If you want to compare Joe Montana to Tom Brady, let's talk. Let's talk about it. And that's it. That's the list. I can respect a lot of players. I can respect what Drake May is doing, but I agree with what Marvin said. Look. We crowning these. The only difference in Drake May got to start quicker. I want to say Tom Brady started like in his second year. Drake May got to start his rookie year. You can't compare quarterbacks because you can't compare eras. Tom Brady, by the time he left the NFL, it was a passing league, but he made sure that whether it was a passing league or not, he says, who got the most passing yards? Me. Who got the most touchdown passes? Me. Who got the most Super Bowls? Me. Oh, okay. He won and I think when we talk about competitive nature, people want to talk about Michael Jordan, people want to talk about Kobe. Tom Brady is right there. He wants to win at everything. So I like what Drake May is doing. I'm never here to bash a young man for going out there and handling business. But this is a proven league, man. You got to win something. And when I say win something, I mean the last team standing. Remember when they was talking about what's the young man from Kansas City name? They was comparing him with Tom. Remember when he played Tom in the Super Duper Bowl? Who won that Super Bowl? Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady, look, I know you're supposed to be the next, but I'm still here, youngin'. So you got to wait. So I know this is going to continue to happen. I know Drake May and his wife got an incredible love story. Mike Vrabel in year one got things going. Josh McDaniels, I don't think is ever going to be a head coach again because when he was a head coach, he drafted Tim Tebow first round when he was with Denver, and then he had a cup of coffee with the Colts and got back on the plane and left. So I don't see him. I think he's built to be the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. But once again, don't just pump your brakes. Get out the car. We driving the wrong way when we talk about Drake May being compared to Tom Brady. We on the wrong highway. Tom Brady is about if Tom Brady was like super duper athletic, it would have been even more unfair with what he was able to accomplish during his time as a player. So like I say, Joe Montana is always going to be up there as one of the greatest quarterbacks I ever seen play the game. Tom Brady is the GOAT. When you talk about the numbers. But like Bill Parcells say, numbers, they show you a lot, don't show you everything. But Tom Brady was like, yeah, well, what they say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Well, check the numbers in every major category for a quarterback, and he's tops in all of them. So Drake May, keep doing your thing, young man, just like Bo Nix, keep doing your thing with the Denver Broncos. And when the comparisons come up, it comes with it. Like in today's NFL, every big running back looks like Derrick Henry. Every big, fast, strong receiver looks like Megatron until they don't. So all I'm saying is, look, you can show glimpses. Everybody shows glimpses, right? Or you win the Super Bowls. Tom Brady said, who's the first team to host the Super Bowl and win it? That was the Bucs. Who's their quarterback? Tom done everything, but he dumbed it down for 2 Super Bowls so Eli Manning could be a Hall of Famer. So he did show his human side for 2 Super Bowls. So now Eli Manning get to be a Hall of Famer because Tom Brady showed he was, human for 2 Super Bowls. And because of that, Eli Manning gonna be a Hall of Famer, people. He's not a Hall of Famer for real, Marvin and Steven, but because of his last name and the 2 Super Bowls, he's gonna be, which lets us know if Nick Foles would have won 2 Super Bowls, is he a Hall of Famer? No. So why is Eli? That's another conversation. I'm telling y'all, we need to stop bending the rules for certain people, man. If his name was Eli Smith, he wouldn't even be a consideration for no Hall of Fame. Stop the madness. Stop.
He'll still be in the Ole Miss Hall of Fame though.
Great stuff, Ben. That was really good. All right, top that one, Steven. Then we'll get away from the superstar comparisons, although I have a laughable one in a moment. Go ahead, Steven.
I mean, this one's already laughable. I don't know how you get a more laughable one.
Oh, don't worry. You'll see the next.
I mean, here we go again. We're having these babies that are just learning how to crawl at the quarterback position being compared to, elite level Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame guys. It shouldn't happen. We shouldn't be having this conversation. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, Eddie's spot on right there. Plunkett won 2. He ain't in the Hall of Fame. He played in real man football time. And the main reason why Plunkett's numbers were so bad because he was stuck in a New England that could barely win more than 2 games a season. So and yeah, like listen, Bill Belichick couldn't do not a nothing, not a Ned nothing without Tom Brady.
Right.
When he left, guess what happened? Bill Belichick as a head coach took a nosedive. So I mean, listen, it doesn't matter how gifted Tom was. Tom just, he had the ultimate winner clutch gene in him, and I think there's another quarterback that kind of has that attribute to them. We'll see what happens over the next 5 years. People are already throwing around this guy's a Hall of Famer, but I'm not ready to go there yet. You have to put in more than a handful of years before we start having these big comparisons. It's absolutely redundant to me. I think Drake May, for all intents and purposes, probably going to be this year's MVP, even though it probably should be Matthew Stafford that is going to be this year's MVP. But I have a feeling they're going to take it away from Stafford and give it to the new kid on the block. But as far as comparison, there is none. There's none to be had, and I think Eddie already said it. If we're comparing him to anyone in New England quarterback history, it probably should be a Drew Bledsoe, not a Tom Brady. But then again, like I said, doesn't have a body of work to compare to. He could very well could fall completely off of the face of the NFL earth at some point in time over the next few years, and no one would know who Drake May is on the street. Not in New England, not in his hometown, not where he played college ball at. But it's again, ridiculous list that we have to go over.
Well, yes and no. It is ridiculous, but it's also interesting, as indicated in the chat room, Stephen. Okay, so it's something that we're all going to talk about.
They're more talking about everyone else than the list.
What's that, Stephen?
They're talking more about everyone else outside of the comparison we're having.
Beautiful. That's good. We have more names that we can refer to. So if you thought these two were interesting, but this one is laughable, so don't take this one to heart, Stephen, okay? But I have to put this out there because I was laughing when it came out. But can you believe there was a story a couple months ago that Johnny Manziel was actually mentoring Diego Pavia? My God. Now, if you want to laugh hard, here goes Stephen. All right. Of course, he'll probably be back on. But, that's all time we have to help his mom out. But that's all right. Let's talk about Diego Pavia and Johnny Manziel, Marvin.
Listen, nobody knows more about adversity and drama and growth and immaturity than Johnny Manziel. You know what I'm saying? He's been through it.
Right.
Better yet, let me say this. He's put himself through it, through this immaturity and decision-making. This guy was at the height of popularity, Johnny football, the money sign, was at A&M when they beat Alabama. He beat Alabama when Alabama was Alabama. Nick Saban, Alabama. When they was still that dog. But this guy, knows what it is to be the #1 draft pick, to go to the NFL, make a bunch of money, be famous, and then just see his life collapse. You know what I'm saying? Just through poor decision making and things he may need to get help with. He's seen it. This quarterback at Vandy, man, already hasn't even been drafted yet. But you see, he making money though. He making money. He confident. Got his team competing at a high level. He made some comments, after the Heisman show, after the award ceremony, about he should have won it and other stuff. So he said some things really that NFL teams will probably look down at, to be honest with you, because you're about to represent these billion-dollar organizations. You can't be acting like that. Johnny Manziel, listen, great mentor. I don't think it's a funny thing. Depending upon where he's really at in his life right now, he may be the only person who can kind of get through. You know what I'm saying? The ones who can help you the most are the ones who've seen the darkness themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been there, they know what it is, they know what it means. I think it's great that Baker wants to step up, take some kind of leadership role in this kid's life, and I hope this kid is smart enough, mature enough to want to receive a little advice from a guy who's been at the top and been at the bottom.
Great stuff, Marvin. Okay, we'll turn it over to you, Candy.
Yeah, I think it's great. If Johnny Manziel wants to mentor a guy, he's been there. He's dealt with adversity. He's dealt with attitudes, saying some of the wrong things. And I think, in today's social media where everything goes viral so quickly, I think it's good that he's having somebody mentor him that might be able to help him. And I'm not saying you can't say things. I said you just have to be careful what you're saying, because everything you say can and will be used either for you or against you in any job going forward.
Okay. Tommy?
Yeah, I wasn't clear on that story if he was mentoring him before or after Pavia made his stupid comment about the Heisman Trophy. But in any respect, Johnny Manziel is not a mentor for anyone.
Right.
The story I always remember about him is when he was at the peak of his popularity after that big season. Sports Illustrated followed him around, and he was on a golf course. And a woman teacher from his high school happened to be out there and saw him and wanted to say hello and congratulate him. And he barely gave her the time of day.
Yeah,
that's the kind of guy Johnny Manziel is. He was out and out rude to her, the way it was portrayed. John Elway wouldn't do that. Tom Brady wouldn't do that. Warren Moon wouldn't do that.
Right.
So Johnny Manziel isn't a mentor to anybody. It reminds me of the story of my days in San Diego. You know, you're talking about guys who could be in the Hall of Fame. If Chuck Muncie wasn't his own worst enemy, he'd be in the Hall of Fame because there was no greater athlete playing running back than Chuck Muncie. The guy could have been a great decathlete. Right. And Muncie got lost his career to cocaine abuse. And I always remember the story. They invited him to Lincoln High School. It's a tough neighborhood in San Diego. That's where Marcus Allen is from, to talk to kids about mistakes. And the Lincoln kids basically said, "Why should we listen to you after all the stuff you've done?" So if you want to talk about mentoring stories, the NFL had Tony Dungy mentor Michael Vick.
Right.
And look what happened to Michael Vick when he made his comeback with the Eagles.
That's a great comparison. Go ahead.
Johnny Manziel is just a plain bad guy.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this before I turn over to Ben. Johnny Manziel is a bust. B-U-S-T, period. Yes. And I don't think he should be mentoring anybody. Turn over to you, Ben. Nobody's going to top. I'm sure.
No, I think Johnny Manziel. I mean, something that Marvel was saying. I mean, he's seen the highs and the lows of this thing, and he's telling he's telling Diego, look, dude, this might be the height of your career. No matter, even if you go pro. And the thing about it is, I mean, Johnny Manziel had the world on fire when he was at Texas A&M, and it's real similar. He said, look, nobody saw me coming to A&M. Nobody saw you coming at Vanderbilt. And you want people to remember what you did as a player. You don't want people to remember your antics. That stuff you doing, he's telling him, you're not good enough to do that, because the best don't do that. The best don't go off antics. They go off how they play. I get it. 22, 23 years old, you at the Heisman, a ceremony, you didn't win. Look, it's going to be a bunch of Heisman, runner-ups. I mean, Christian McCaffrey was a Heisman runner-up. Darren McFadden was a Heisman runner-up. I mean, you're going to – Peyton Manning was a Heisman runner-up. It's how you handle it. And I get it. Sometimes when you are a guy like Johnny Manziel, sometimes you find your way back into the spotlight. I mean, you're trying to do it the right way. I don't know that Netflix special he had. Good Lord. I ain't even know, where did he get the time to do all the stuff he did when he was at A&M? But I can always appreciate a former player trying to look out for a current player, trying to let him know, Diego, you will become a memory real fast if you get to doing crazy stuff. People will write you off really, really quickly, because winning a Heisman is prestigious. Being a Heisman Trophy finalist is prestigious, but you want to be able to live off this moment for years. AKA a one Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is the NIL king, and he's still living off of it because of how he lived his life. So I can appreciate Johnny Manziel trying to make sure. He said, look, man, I don't want you to go on the same path I did. I want you to listen to the things I didn't listen to. And hopefully he's doing that. Like I said, players have a chance now to be more high profile because of how much media attention and exposure that they get. But you better use it the right way, because perception is your reality. It don't matter. The craziest thing a player can say, they don't really know me. We don't really know none of them. We don't know most players. We don't sit down and talk to them. We don't live in the same neighborhood with them. Our kids don't go to the same schools. No, what you give us is what we go off of. So don't get mad when we judging you or criticizing you on what you're giving us. So I'm happy for Johnny doing it, because when Johnny Manziel had on the Diego jersey, that was well. I saw him wearing the jersey at a game this year, so it kind of putting two and two together. So shout out to Johnny Manziel trying to at least lend his wisdom to the young man. Will he listen? I don't know, but at least he's trying to do things the right way. I can always commend Johnny Manziel for doing it, because, like I said, Johnny Manziel lasted 2 years in the league. 2. That blew my mind when I saw that Johnny Manziel. He got drafted by Cleveland, so I mean, we understand that part. But 2 years, man. So yeah, keep on doing the right thing, Johnny, man. Hope you keep your nose clean, but trying to deal with these youngins that's making $2 and $3 million a year just to play college football, it's gonna be hard to get those people to listen. Hopefully Diego does.
Any thoughts about this one, Steven? I know you had to take care of some or maybe you laughed at me for the
Johnny Manziel trying to tutor anybody. What's he gonna try to show him how to do beer pong? Seriously,
Yeah.
stop playing. Is he gonna show them what girls to stay away from at the strip club? The guy just missed a signing event that he was supposed to because he was partying. He hasn't grown up in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
If anything, like Diego's gonna be like, all right, this is what I'm not supposed to do moving forward, right? Got
Right.
you. Okay. That's the only reason if I'm somebody that's working with this kid to allow Johnny Manziel to tell my client anything at this point in time. It's a joke. I'm not sitting there saying that Johnny wasn't an exceptional talent when he was in college football. He didn't take his pro career seriously. He didn't have mentors either when he was in a bad situation in Cleveland, but he used that as a scapegoat for how he acted otherwise. So, as much as he was probably one of the funnest college football players that we've seen over the past 20 years, he has no business mentoring anybody with anything unless it's involved with substance abuse recovery.
That's funny.
Yeah, man,
Steve.
that event Manziel didn't show up for was celebrity picker for the ESPN game when Texas A&M was playing. And
But he also missed a signing that same day too. He was supposed to do a signing later on that day.
And the day before, ESPN celebrity picker was Brian Bosworth, who when he played for Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl was running around with a flag with a sign that says NCAA, National Communists Against Athletes, because he got busted for steroids. These are the guys we celebrate on ESPN.
That's right. Hey, Steven, I got some good advice here. You know a quick way to make some money? I'll tell you right now. Send me a clip of your laugh, okay, and chastise Johnny Manziel. And if you can do that, Steven, that's your first rate.
You should already. Listen. You're slow to the game. If there's something you think is that funny and you want to hear it again, just say the magic words. Clip that.
I already know that, but I'm trying to give you a sales lesson, Sickta, man. Marvin's trying to get me to go back into sales, Sickta, man. Send me a recording of your laugh, or Candy, you'll have to do it because that was classic the way you pounded this guy.
Actually, I think if you go into, if you tell Candy, just remember this timestamp right around this time, you should be able to go through it and manually put it in there for him.
That's classic, man. That's sales, right?
Yes.
That's sales. That's sales.
Listen, I got no hate towards Johnny Manziel in any way.
No, I have a liking towards your laugh. Forget about Manziel. You already said what your thinking is here. Save it for business.
Yeah, I don't have any hatred toward him either. I hate how the media celebrates him.
Yeah, I can't stand him. I make no bones about it.
But how do you say that in a day of the Kardashians and Trump? And I mean, Johnny Manziel makes you mad. That makes you mad.
I laugh at Trump all the time. He's a freaking idiot. Don't get me wrong. Like he can get it too. Kim Kardashian, the whole family, they can get it
with our
too.
society. People voted for that guy because he was on a TV show.
All right, let's not lose no viewers here. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, you know what?
He's our president. I like some of the things he's doing, but the way he goes about things, he's a freaking idiot sometimes. Let's be honest.
He said, "I like it."
Tell me how you really feel. All right. Well, you know
what? Which topic we talking about now? What do you want to know?
Tell you what. I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more under the microscope one that will hit some of our crazy NFL topics. So get this. You know how important college football is to the landscape? Bismarck State College is reinstating their football program after 43-year hiatus. The Mystics are searching for a new head coach, and the season kicks off in 2027. What are your thoughts about Bismarck College entering the college football thing, Marvin?
Listen, again, it's not a sport, y'all. It's a business. This thing is about to make, they see the opportunity to get that money. You know what I'm saying? It's real. These TV networks, these sponsors, they putting real money up. Viewerships at an all-time high. People who are so upset about NIL and the transfer portal, who want to boycott watching bull crap. TV college football right now is killing it. You know what I'm saying? And there's no suggestion, nothing that I see that says it's slowing down. Bismarck wants that money. There's a lot of athletes out there, and good for them, man. It's a great game. It's a great team sport. My greatest relationships were my college teammates, without question. And good job for their students as well. My wife went to a college that has no football, Xavier in New Orleans. Crazy. How do you have no football and you're in college? That's just the world. That's just how I think. You know what I'm saying? So good for you, Bismarck.
Candy?
Okay, so I had to do a little bit of research, of course, because that's just me. They're the third largest college in North Dakota university system with 3,781 students. That was a while back. Now, they have 35 technical programs and more than 150 courses are offered offline. They compete in 14 intercollegiate varsity sports. The men's sports include baseball, basketball, cross country, rodeo, track and field, wrestling, while women's sports include basketball, cross country, softball, rodeo, track and field, volleyball. And then men's football will return in 2027 after a decades-long hiatus. They're currently transitioning into a 4-year institution and will be leaving the Mondac Conference. So just interesting. On November 6, 2025, they announced that the school will be reviving its football team, which was discontinued in 1985. The team will begin playing in the Frontier Conference with the 27-28 athletic season.
So there you have it. Bismarck is back in business. Tom, you like college. What do you think of this interesting story?
Yeah, there's two interesting things about this. Like Marvin said, football is a business for a college to make money. And I'm going to cite an example. Old Dominion University is coming off a 10-3 season. They didn't have football until 2014. Now they went into Conference USA, Sun Belt. And the reason they started a football program, because they always had a good basketball program, the reason they started a football program is they realized the event that a campus rallies around is not only the football team, but homecoming weekend. And that's when you get the donor money. So that's why Old Dominion started up a football program, and it's paying off for them. The other thing that's very interesting about this is we're only 10, maybe 15 years removed when there were serious concerns about concussions in the future of football. You had a lot of soccer moms that weren't letting their kids play football. And we seem to have moved way beyond that because Division II and Division III football are getting more attention than ever. Just last night on ESPN, I think it was the Monday night game, they had the football championship subdivision game on. Illinois State, and who did they play? And that was on TV. That didn't happen. That didn't happen 10, 15 years ago. So the numbers of players that are playing football. Football has really recovered from what everybody thought. They were going down a path similar to boxing.
Interesting stuff, Tommy. All right, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, Bismarck understand that we want to be known throughout the state of North Dakota. We want to be potentially known throughout the country, and nothing gets you seen more, nothing gets you noticed more and recognized more than football. And when you look at what North Dakota State and those type of teams are doing in that state, I think they want to be able to be a part of that. And I get it. When you start talking about a marketing plan, what's gonna get your name out there quicker? Football. I know. Say I was just talking about. Kennesaw State only been around since 2015. They just won Conference USA in second. I'm telling you, football is the way. We ain't taking nothing against the journalism department, nothing against the engineering department, but it's about football. The first thing you do when you think about a college, the first thing jump in your head, who played football there? Every time. To us football junkies, which we are, but I'm happy that they're getting back into football. I think about 40 years is a long time, to be without anything. And think about the people that went there that talked about the time when they did have football to now have it coming back. So I'm happy for Bismarck. I'm happy for those players. 2027, they get a full year to kind of get everything back going. Oh, and hopefully it's a success because I think teams like Old Dominion, teams like the Kennesaw States, because these colleges do research, and they try to say, okay, who has been around the least but making the most noise? So that kind of stuff helps. And hey man, congratulations to those young men who get a chance to go out there and do it. I'm gonna keep saying this. I respect all college football. I do not care what level, because I know how extremely difficult it is to get a scholarship or to get a chance to play after high school. So congratulations to those young men. I think the coach they just resigned at his other school to come over there. He believes that much in it. I'm gonna leave this school to come over there. So everybody think it's all about the Lane Kiffin's of the world leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU. No, coaches are jumping ship all over the country. So I hope they do well. It's something about those new teams that put pressure on the usual suspects that's already been in those conferences, and we'll see what happens.
So, Katie, what I want you to do here is take notes, see if you can go ahead and inform those people. I want to bring the new head coach on the Motor City Mad Mouth and Marvin on the Mike show. I think that'd be a good show for down the road. So make note of the time that we put this on, and we'll see if we can reach out to those people and put them on. Marvin and I will have a field day with this one because it's a very encouraging story. All right, Stephen.
I mean, again, to quote, Mr. Marvin Powell there, it's about money. That's what all this is really about. It's about the cheddar cheese. That's what it is. And I agree with Tom too. Like, homecoming game, all that stuff is kind of when all these campuses are have the most attention on them, and and stuff that I like, stuff that Ben said is being there in Bismarck, and then you have North Dakota State that you had a couple top picks come out of there. They won a couple championships there.
Right.
You get kind of that jealousy, that envy in you. Like, man, I want that too. I want that love and attention and stuff like that. So I think it makes sense, bringing football in there. I want to see more. I don't think there should be a college inside of North America that shouldn't have at least a football program. I know a lot of these schools are, it's either they're lucky to get a handful because of funding and stuff like that. But I mean, I think at the very least, college football, baseball, hockey should be a part of every school's available sports to play. But that all comes with money, right, guys? So it's what it's really about at the end of the day. I hope they're able to become a successful program, and they're able to kind of reach some of the realistic goals that they set for themselves. But the more the merrier, in my opinion. We're talking about putting college football games in the Middle East for, once a year. Then you're gonna need schools to go out there, and this is a lot of reasons why you're seeing people like say, listen, we want a part of that money too. Like we want to be able to brand and market ourselves to get more attention on us. So bravo to them, and hopefully that they're able to achieve what they want with starting the football program back up.
Great stuff, Stephen. Really like your commentary on this. This is really good. All right, let's go to something, Stephen, everybody's all too comfortable with. We're going to talk about Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to read his story, and everybody can comment on it. I think it was that impressive. I want to spend a little time on it. Jeffrey Lurie inherited $200 million from his grandfather. Instead of retiring, he bought the Philadelphia Eagles in 1994. The team was horrible, but he built it with a winning franchise that's now worth $6.5 billion in 30 years. Let's continue on because this is unbelievable. Obviously the Philadelphia Eagles were up for sale at $185 million. The team was struggling. Philadelphia wanted the ownership gone. Guess what? Jeffrey decided to buy them anyways. Most people inherited wealth. He risked nearly all of his on a broken football franchise. That single decision led to Super Bowl titles, packed stadiums, and one of the most valuable franchises in the NFL. Sometimes direction matters more than safety, without a doubt. But when you think about it, Jeffrey Lurie was born in 1951, and his grandfather owned movie theaters and built a fortune in entertainment. Let me continue on with this because it's a really good story. As I said, he was born in 1951, growing up in a family whose fortune came in the successful chain of movie theaters owned by his grandfather. When Jeffrey when his grandfather passed away. Again, he inherited more than 200 million. So at a relatively young age, he was given financial freedom, but was unsure of what he wanted to build with his massive inheritance he had received. In 1994, the unexpected opportunity appeared when the Philadelphia Eagles were put up for sale during one of the darkest periods in the team's history. The team was losing gains, fans, relevance, and the city's trust. Jeffrey made a bold decision to go 185 million of his inherited fortune with the struggling franchise, risking almost everything he had. If he had failed, he'd be remembered as the hare who wasted his fortune. Obviously, the pressure was real. In 1999, Jeffrey made a key decision and hired Andy Reid as head coach. Reid transformed the organization from inside out. He changed the culture, the mindset, expectations, which led to a playoff appearance in 2000. In 2004, 2005, the Eagles reached the Super Bowl twice. They lost, but the city believed again. In 2017, Jeffrey made another bold call by hiring Doug Peterson as head coach and drafted Jalen Hurts. That season changed everything as the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2018. Before the win, the franchise was worth $2 billion, but by 2023, it was valued at $6 billion. Obviously, we see that Jeffrey's $185 million investment had multiplied. He inherits money. Inherited money didn't make him successful. It was actually the smart decisions, strong leadership, and the patience to let great investments compound over that time period. With that said, Stephen, you're in that area. What are your thoughts about the impact of Jeffrey Lurie?
As an Eagles fan, I couldn't be happier that he bought this team. Norman Brayman was doing nothing but running this franchise into the ground. He had Buddy Ryan here. He had one of the best defenses inside the last 40 years, and did absolutely nothing. Just let it go to waste. When he bought the team, he brought in Ray Rhodes. He brought in that West Coast style of offense in there, with John Gruden and all that. So I mean, he did a lot of the right things. It wasn't just an Andy Reid thing. Andy was just another piece to it. As they, Ray Rhodes wasn't quite getting it done the way he wanted it to get done. And it was kind of along the lines of the similar thing when Andy got to the end of his rope here in Philadelphia. He wanted this team to be a championship team. He felt that he was putting enough effort into it. And then that, the Andy's shtick had kind of ran stale here in Philadelphia. We go and move on again. He connects with this city in another way. It's not just giving them a team to root for that is a perennial contender. It's the stuff he does in the community, the charities, the Eagles Autism Foundation. Jeffrey Lurie is so much more than just an owner that's looking to fill his pockets. He goes out of his way to do things he doesn't have to do. We've seen it plenty of times. Owners just are just here to be a part of the show and to line their pockets, and that's all. After all that's said and done, they don't care. That's not the type of person Jeffrey Lurie is, and I think that's another reason why he's been so successful here in Philadelphia in building that thing. And he also holds everyone to a level of standard. They're not brought if they're not to that standard, they're out of here. And the same goes with as he brings in some of these guys to kind of implement their plans, like a Howie Roseman. He will not have any player on his team that has been involved in domestic violence in any way, shape, or form. You've been accused of domestic violence, you've been charged with it, whatever. You will not be a Philadelphia Eagle. And like I said, there's a level of respect when it comes to that, because a lot of people, they don't care what you do outside of it, as long as when you come in the building, you act this way, you do this way, you perform on the field. He holds everyone to a standard, and I think that's what has built the championship culture here. It's something to be seen, because I mean, I remember as a young kid, just the years and years of losing and just getting, having all the right pieces there, but just couldn't get out of our own way. And then over the last, 10, 15 years, starting to kind of see it all get put together and show out on the field. I mean, you got to think since he's taken over, beforehand, they had one Super Bowl appearance, from the 60s to the end of the 80s, right? After 2004, obviously run into the Patriots. 2017, you run into the Patriots again, you win that one, and then two more inside of the last 5 years. So since he's owned this team, they've been to 5 Super Bowls.
Right.
That is a complete polar opposite of what you've seen in the damn near 100 years of the team's existence. So Jeffrey Lurie is much more than just a guy that got lucky with an inheritance and just playing around with daddy's money. He gives back in so many ways. You have to tip your cap to him.
Well, certainly a great story, isn't it, Stephen? That's why we brought it on here. Let everybody know where he came from and inherited his grandfather's wealth, and obviously made a choice. And now look where the franchise is, defending Super Bowl champs. All right, Ben.
Yeah, I mean the thing that say what Stephen just said. We talk about a guy like Mr. Lurie. I think the thing about a good owner is he trusts the people he hires. Like he's not trying to be seen. And I mean, you inherit $200 million. I mean, a lot of people say, man, what am I going to do with this money besides try not to waste it? And he got a chance to he got a chance to buy the Philadelphia Eagles. And you look at what he's done with it. I mean, Mr. Lurie was a guy that's never ever was seen as a guy that didn't care about winning. I mean, when you talk about, I think he hit the jackpot when he hired Howie Roseman. He hit the jackpot because you got a guy who understands how to put a team together, from the coaches, the players, and yeah, I mean, you talk about Donovan McNabb, but the one thing that stands out about me about Mr. Lurie was he's the only one that took a chance on Michael Vick when he came out of jail. He's the one that took a chance on him. And he let him, and Michael Vick at one point was an MVP candidate. They said for Michael Vick to get back on the field, you got to have the best front office to deal with that damage control. And they did. Tony Dungy reached out to Andy Reid. Andy Reid tells Andy Reid about Michael Vick. He said, look, he's a different person. I will vouch for him. And the rest is history. So, yeah, I mean, Mr. Lurie right now, he's one of the best owners in sports. When you look at what his team is doing, when you look at how his team performs, and in a place like Philly, you got to be built to deal with anything, and that's a gritty, grimy city. But yeah, Mr. Lurie, he's done a lot, and obviously he don't publicize everything he does, but when he does, but he seems the two things I know he do, he loves that city and he supports his players, both current and former, and that says a lot about an owner. I mean, listen, once your owner start giving you checks when you out there on the field, they don't got to, show up to your events or support you in what you're doing, but yeah, man, Mr. Lurie seems to be like one of those owners, and when he's in the meeting, when he's at the owners' meeting, what he says matters. And I know that he was known to last year at the competition committee talking about the tush push. He was talking because he thought they was gonna get rid of it, right? He did his speech, and now it's back. But congratulations to him. I mean, obviously those owners want to collect checks. Most owners in the NFL, they're trying to collect that money. And they team not gonna be that good. And I know, Steven always want to come on here and talk about losing, man. I don't want to hear y'all don't know losing, man. Y'all know about losing. I'm a Falcons fan. Stop it, man. Don't know about no losing, man. Want to hear that? But no, Mr. Lurie, what he does, he understands that too much is given, much required. We in a position like his, and obviously he can sit back and just collect his money. But he seemed to want to make sure that his impact on the city, not at the same level now, but Arthur Blank is real similar to a Mr. Lurie for what he does for the city of Atlanta, not with the winning, but as far as the impact, the type of things he tried to do. So shout out to Mr. Lurie, man. Once again, something else to brag on, Stephen, when you talk about your Eagles, man. You got Howie Roseman, you got Jalen Hurts, you got Saquon, you got AJ, you got Jalen Carter. What do you want? Like, what is it? God.
I'm just thankful we don't got Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones is doing his podcast right now.
Yeah,
It's called go to bed.
that's funny. Great transition over to Tommy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't know the backstory on where he got his money. That's very interesting. And then all the other stuff that Steve and Ben said. The thing that, I don't know a lot about him, but the thing that I've always thought about him is he's an owner who doesn't meddle. And I guess that's true from what I've heard these guys say. He makes smart decisions, but he lets the professionals run the team. And what it reminds me more of, obviously he's not like Jerry Jones. What he reminds me of is Art Rooney, who took a horse racing bet and turned it into the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow.
Took him a while to win, but when he was a winner, he didn't meddle.
I didn't know that backstory either. That's pretty cool stuff. Art Rooney actually took
Back in the 1930s, that's all you needed to buy an NFL team was they hit it big at the racetrack.
I'll tell you what I want you to do. You need to write a story on that one and send it to us. How's that sound? I'll make sure that one gets a lot of publicity. Fair enough?
Right story on what?
Yeah, you write a story on Art Rooney buying the Steelers off a horse.
That's been written plenty.
So I'll tell you one thing, man. That's pretty cool stuff. All right, Candy. Great stuff, Tommy.
The Lories had been New England Patriots season ticket holders since the franchise began in 1960, the year the American Football League was founded. In 1993, Lorie tried to buy the Patriots, but he dropped out of the bidding at $150 million. His uncle, Richard Smith, nixed the purchase based on the financials. Lorie's name also resurfaced in sale talks regarding the Los Angeles Rams, and he was a potential investor in a bid for a Baltimore expansion team with Robert Tisch, who subsequently bought 50% of the Giants. Lorie bought the Philadelphia Eagles on May 4th, 1994 from Brahman for $150 million, equivalent to $414 million in 2024 dollars. Lorie and his mother, Nancy Lorie Marks, the only daughter of Philip Smith, borrowed $190 million from the Bank of Boston to buy the team. To back the Bank of Boston loan, Lorie put up millions of dollars worth of personal stock in Harcourt General and J.C. Companies, Inc. as equity. Him and his mother also put up stock in the family trust as collateral so Lorie could borrow the rest of the money.
Great story. Thanks for the additional facts. All right, turn over to you, Marvin.
Yeah, so listen, Steve hit it on the head with all the good things to say about Jeff Lorie. Listen, I get it. He's a first-class guy. I've never heard anything negative from the guy or about the guy. When you see him, I love how he presents himself and everything else. But I push back at this whole idea of like, yeah, man, he took such a risk to buy the team. First, the dude got $200 million. Buying an NFL team is one of the most is 100% positive bet. You know what I'm saying? You knew that in the 90s. All the numbers told you that. Okay, so listen, he was fortunate and blessed. His granddaddy worked hard, gave him a bag, gave him a major bag. Jeff went and do what rich trust fund boys do, that their family blesses them to do. He went and bought him a team. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. But like, come on, man. He was given the money. You know, what a phenomenal opportunity for him. And buying, having the cash to put up, for collateral, whatever it may be, the equity to put up for collateral. What a blessing to be given. You know what I'm saying? So congratulations, Jeff. You did what you should have done with it. And, keep being a first-class guy.
Yeah, I love these stories. That's why they come on this network. I don't care if it's Bismarck or Philadelphia. They're coming on this show. That's what'll make a difference from any other football show out there.
Yeah, the minute you start the story off with the granddaddy gave him $200 million, at that point we cut off all reality of like accomplishment and what that person does moving forward. You know what I'm saying? It don't even count. Yeah. But I'm not. Hey, listen, we all should want that for our families. That's what you do. You know what I'm saying? We should all want that. But come on, man.
Hey, listen, you know what? It is what it is. People in Philadelphia and everybody ought to know that Jeffrey Lorie is a winner on and off the field, and the fact that he got it back from his grandfather, and now look where the team is at, worth over $6 billion, says a lot. All right, let's go back to college football a little bit. We're going to talk about the Canes in a few moments, but the most watched teams in college football this season, with the average views per game, we'll start it off with Alabama had 8.49 million, Texas 7.55 million, Georgia 7.48 million, Ohio State 6.57 million, Oklahoma 6.47 million, LSU 6.42 million, Tennessee 6.21 million, Auburn 5.255 million, Michigan 5.08 million, and last but not least, you got Texas A&M 4.99 million. Which one of these? Obviously, I gave you some big time numbers, but let's just talk about in general. Which one of these brands intrigues you the most, Marvin?
Well, I was waiting for you to mention one more school, but that broke my heart. Anyway,
Yeah, didn't
listen,
make the list, or I would have.
When it comes down to, honestly, none of them really intrigue me. You're talking about programs that are relevant nationally, that have huge bases, national bases, that have been winning games, that have played in big games. That's what I'm hearing. You start out with Alabama. Listen, they're still coming off that Nick Saban high, and they come and they falling fast. They falling hard too. They come up that Nick Saban high. Doesn't surprise me that their numbers are what they are. I was gonna say that there's nothing else going on in the South, so of course they're gonna watch football. What else they gonna do? This ain't LA, right? But nah, when you talk about those kind of numbers, man, Nick Saban and Bear Bryant and built that brand so big. They watching the Crimson Tide all over the world. So that might be the one, just because they're in Tuscaloosa. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people are in Alabama? You know what I mean? So this is a national, international thing. And listen, I'm a college football fan. Like I said, man, I'm a diehard Trojan, but I grew up watching all these programs, nothing but love and admiration for a lot of programs. And I'm not saying Alabama's one of them, but I'm just saying I understand. So that would be the school most intriguing for me, Scott.
Okay, Candy, what about you?
I don't know. Most intriguing. I mean, it makes sense because you've got some of the programs that have had the longest history of success. I mean, like, let's face it, Alabama's been up there a long time. Michigan's one of the most winning. Ohio State's up there. They're also in very population-rich places as well, most of those schools with long histories. I guess I was surprised that Ohio State is down as far as they were. I would have thought, as elusive as sometimes they, and they say they are, I would have thought they would have been a little bit higher, but that'd be my 2 cents.
What about you, Tommy?
So are these the average TV
Yeah,
weekly ratings?
this is the list I gave you is the top 10. Yeah,
I mean, that's
average.
what they average for the season per game.
Yeah, average views per game. Average views per game.
Yeah, well, it's not surprising just considering the brand names, but the thing that's interesting about it, this is what I'll say about it. All those schools are football centric, and so if they have a bad football season, they have a miserable year.
Right.
Place like Michigan State, we had a bad football season, but we're moving on to basketball season. We're fired up. We got something to keep us happy in the winter.
That's fun. I love that. That was good. All right, Ben.
It's branding. I mean, Marvin just said it. When you talk about the South and you talk about college football, I mean, nothing against Ohio State, nothing against Michigan. I mean, when you start talking about the way in which these teams market their teams, yeah, good or bad, people are gonna watch. I mean, Tuscaloosa ain't the biggest city, Athens ain't the biggest city, Baton Rouge ain't the biggest city, Knoxville ain't the biggest cities. I don't know how big College Station is. Auburn, if you coming down 85 and you look down and you look up, you are past Auburn. You have missed the whole little town. I mean, I think the thing about that's how they position it. The state of Alabama doesn't have professional football. That is by design. I want Alabama and Auburn to be the biggest thing, in the state. Obviously, when you talk about Texas and Texas A&M, I mean, Texas is the biggest brand in the state. That's taking nothing away from the Dallas Cowboys or the Houston Texans. And Texas A&M, they ain't far behind. So, yeah, this is not surprising. It's not surprising at all. And sometimes it's just the fact that, SEC football is just huge. Take nothing away from the ACC, take nothing away from the Big Ten. I mean, 8 out of these 10 teams are from the SEC. So I just think that when you talk about the viewership, when good teams are bad, that's good for them viewership wise. When good teams remain good, that's even more as far as like viewership. So I'm not surprised. I mean, Texas A&M averaging almost 5 million. You averaging almost 5 million viewers. So when you talk about, once again, when you talk about why the people that like run these schools, these GMs and chancellors and athletic directors, you want to know why Greg Sankey got his feet up right now? The commissioner of the SEC. This is why. When he said who watches more football than SEC fans? Well, this is the reason why. So yeah, I'm sad too. I'm sad too, Marvin. I mean, Florida ain't there. I don't even want to know. We was probably in the millions, but we ain't as high as we used to be over the years. Hopefully, we get back to at least the viewership or some level of respectability with these years coming up. Come on, Coach Summerall, let's get right.
That's good, Steven.
All right. Want to know what I think I find interesting about this entire list is there's not a single team on here that is remaining in the college football playoffs right now.
Right.
Not a single team. So all the views, all the money, all that they put into it, y'all still don't y'all still don't have a championship team on the field right now. So the fandom, the brand, all that's all fine, well, and dandy. The simple fact that we're sitting here and you got Oregon, Miami about to go at it, and none of the big SEC schools who have all this viewership and all this money behind it are even there right now.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and add to your point too, Stephen, because what you brought is really good. We'll talk about Miami Hurricanes in a moment, but reality of the situation is Texas A&M is on this list. They've only been relevant for the last 10 or 15 years. Other than that, they were about an average school. That's what they were. And USC should be on this. I'm just surprised at that population base that you have in LA that they're not on this list. And with them being a blue blood, a top 10 winning program. Great point, Stephen. I just want to build on that. Speaking of the Miami Hurricanes, we're going to do exactly that. Miami is undefeated this season versus ranked teams. They're 6-0 in ranked games and 4-0 in top 10 games so far. Their wins occurred against Notre Dame, who was ranked 6th at the time, 27-24. Then they beat the University of South Florida Bulls 49-12. USF at the time was ranked number 8th, and they had a win against Florida State, who was ranked 18th at the time, 28-22. A win against number 22 Pittsburgh, 38-7. A win against, you guessed it, Texas A&M. They were 10-3 in the college football playoff, and then Ohio State 24-14, which brought them to 6-0. Meanwhile, their only losses actually occurred to Louisville 24-21 at home on Friday, 10-17-25, and SMU 11-1-25, and that was an overtime loss. So they go 6-0 against ranked opponents, 3-0 versus top 10 opponents. So there you have it. That's the tale of the tape. But that said, Marvin, we'll just keep this a little bit shorter. What are you expecting out of Miami against Ole Miss?
Yeah, Ole Miss is Cinderella, just given their situation. And Cinderella does not go through the gauntlet of college football playoffs. So that ride has to stop somewhere. I thought they looked great against Georgia. But, right now, UM is clicking. Obviously, they play well in big games. This is the biggest game of their program in the last decade plus. So, I think that they're proven. I think that they're the real deal. I think they have real speed. I think that, they're seeing – I don't know if they're seeing the results from the quarterback that they thought they'd get, but he's doing his part. Miami's real. Miami's real. I expect them to play for the national championship. And, listen, once you get in the game, it's a crapshoot. You know what I'm saying? So anything can happen. It's a long 60 minutes. They have a lot of athletes. They have a real roster. So, yeah, let's beat Ole Miss as they probably will. And up there, like I said, it's a crapshoot. We'll see.
Candy saw out of the Canes. Some thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think we got the best out of Carson Beck that we thought we were going to get.
Right.
Malachi Toney has come through clutch freshman Receiver, done it in both special teams play as well as receiver. When healthy, Fletcher is one of a really good running back. I think where we shine has been the defensive side of things with Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor. And I think those two are going to wreak havoc against Ole Miss. And I think that's where we need to shine. Mario coaches with a lot of heart, but he also talks about violence and how football is a violent game, and you got to be up for hit, and then you got to be up for going for things and stuff like that. And I think that could be the difference in the game.
Yeah, Mario Crispal's done a whale of a job there. And of course, Ruben Bain, we've talked about him, especially on our Saturday show. Tommy.
Yeah, Miami's coming on at the right time. They have great linemen. Ruben Bain is an awesome player. And on the offensive line, I think his name's Francis Magua. He's a great player. So they're a solid physical football team. And now they've got these young skill players they're producing late in the season. The other thing that's interesting, I read this the other day, I found it interesting. The ACC gets beat up a lot for not being on the level of the Big Ten and the SEC. But if Miami were to win the national title, that would be 3 ACC schools since 2014. The Big Ten only has 3 teams win the Big Ten title, but only 2 teams. The ACC would have 4 from 3 teams, Florida State and Clemson. Of course, the SEC dominates with Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. But if you look at it that way, the ACC is maybe not as far behind as they get beaten up for being, and they're certainly ahead of the Big 12.
Okay. Ben.
Yeah, I expect this to be a good game. I expect it to be a really, really good game. I think all the pressure is on Miami for this reason. I mean, we forgetting that Ole Miss is playing without their head coach. We forget the fact that Lane Kiffin is coaching these coaches to come over to LSU right now. Trinidad. I mean, what he got named after the Holy Trinity, huh? I will say this: as a guy that played college football in the state of Florida, I know how big Miami football is, not just to the state of Florida, but to the college football fabric. Right. Mario Cristobal is doing what everybody thought he was. He got hired to do not too many moons ago. I think it's going to be hard to pick against Miami because that defense is lights out. But I think something that Marvin said, when you were Cinderella, man, you can't lose no matter what you do. You weren't even supposed to be here. What you doing here? How you get in here? Oh, I got an invite. For real? So I just I looked at, I heard I said you talk about Trinidad, but when we first came on, when you were underdog like that, when nobody wanted you, when we went to Ferris State, 2-time Division II national champ, that's an underdog, Caleb Williams. For those of you who didn't see what Caleb Williams said, when nobody believed in me, you won the Heisman. You were the #1 overall pick. Stop it. What are you talking about? Anyway, I just think that with a game like this is what college football is about. You got a blue blood in Miami. Now, they haven't been to the Natty in a while, but they still Miami. No, they're not the Miamis of now somewhere Michael Irvin, got his belt beating on something right now. And that's no bigger Miami Hurricane than Michael Irvin. But I think this is what college football is about. Well, people kept saying, what does NIL mean to college football? This is what it means to it. This is how Ole Miss can compete without their head coach. So I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I think the longer that Ole Miss stays into the game, it favors Ole Miss. But I think Miami is playing for something different, so it's going to be hard to go against the Canes, and that's hard for me. I mean, I'm an orange and blue guy. I know they orange and green down there in Coral Gables, but Miami is legit. Carson Beck, Miss Candy, you said it. He hasn't been great, but he's been good, though. And that's what I just need you to be good, to not do something crazy. And, hey, man, everybody thought it was going to be Georgia versus Miami, huh? It was going to be his former team. No, Ole Miss sent them home. So, hey, I mean, I think it's going to be a really, really good game. Trinidad versus Carson Beck. You talk about tradition versus an upstart. Because outside of what Hotty Toddies, Archie Manning, Eli Manning, that's all I really know about 18 miles an hour in Oxford. Ain't a lot going on in Ole Miss. I want to say that in Oxford, the Italian restaurant is called the Italian restaurant. That's what it's called. That's the name of it. Go get you some spaghetti. So, I'm gonna go with the Canes though. I think that Cristobal understands how important this moment is, and with NIL being what it is, sometimes the best team is gonna be the team that spent the most money, i.e., Indiana this year. So, but shout out to them Canes, man. They got a shot to get back to the national championship. And I know for all play with guys like Jared Payton, played against guys, like Jonathan Vilma, Sean Taylor, Kellen Winslow, guys like that. Jeremy Shockey, those guys. So I know for Miami, guys like Michael Irvin and Warren Sapp, The Rock, they hope Miami get there because that sideline, if Miami makes it that, it is going to be standing room only because it's going to be loaded with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. Miami ain't got as many Heismans as SC, Marvin. I get it.
They don't. No.
Nobody. But when it comes to Hall of Famers, they add them to the list about every other year. So shout out to them Canes, man, getting it done.
Well, Ben, just to be clear, they don't not the same. USC has 14.
No. That's what I know. I'm just talking about stars. I didn't say Heisman. No. We don't play those games. We know that SC is in Pasadena, LA, and we know that USC is in Columbia. We know.
Yeah. We know. Okay.
I'll tell you what, Steven has you guys your own show, and I had to create something like that with Mel. So now I know why Steven's getting all these incredible ratings with the YouTube guys going at it. Unbelievable stuff. Steven, some thoughts on the Miami game?
Miami, Ole Miss. I don't really think it matters because I think Indiana's going to want to winning it all. Honestly, okay. I love I agree with Marvin. The Cinderella story with Ole Miss is great. It would be absolutely awesome for them to make it to the championship game, being the fact that their head coach decided that he was just going to take a walk and go to LSU and get paid more money. I think that would be the ultimate, middle finger to, coach to the NCAA, all of it. That they need to change stuff like this. So we never have to have this conversation again. But I think when you look at it, I think Indiana is the most complete team. If there's any type of Cinderella story, that when is the last time Indiana has won a national championship in football? Have they ever?
No.
Okay, so if there's a real Cinderella story, it's Ole Miss and it's Indiana. I would love to see that matchup. I don't think Ole Miss continues their season after having to go face off with Miami. I think if you're writing a perfect novel to this, and the NCAA can craft it in whatever way. They want Indiana. They want Miami. That's the matchup they want. We'll see how it plays off. I've always been a Miami Hurricanes fan just because of the amount of Hall of Fame level, the superstar level players that have coming out of the University of Miami. I've always been intrigued watching them. So always got a soft spot for watching that, but I have no vested interest in it. So let's go Indiana Hoosiers.
Well, I have a vested interest. I got my start covering college football with the Hurricanes.
You have a vested interest.
Let me finish, would you?
No,
let me finish.
Never.
No, I know. Let me finish anyways. Seriously, really, seriously. Oh, I got it wrong. Really, seriously, really. I got to ask, by the way. There you go. There's that laugh again, Candy. Timestamp it again. All right,
Clip it.
Clip it.
Yeah, clip it. Is that what they call it these days? I don't know. Anyways, I cover the Canes during the Schnellenberger era, and now I get them with Cristobal. I have a vested interest in them. And I'll tell you, Marvin will tell you, I've been riding the Canes throughout our time over on our show on Saturday, right? I got to stay with them now. All right, rapid fire these next couple topics. Rapid fire. Tom Brady ranks the Jaguars as the number 2 team in the NFL. We have a guy, light switches in here from Duval, and if you're still on, this is your topic. I hope you can comment on it. So what do you think, Marvin? Do you think the Jaguars are number 2 team in the NFL?
In the NFL, nah, I wouldn't put them number 2 in the NFL. I think that Seattle looks real. I know they just played Denver recently, but I think it's hard to beat a good team twice. I believe Jacksonville had won that. I wouldn't put it. No, they're not. I don't think they're number 2 rapid fire. I'd put them probably 4 or 5. I think they're legit, but they're probably 4 or 5.
That's right. Earl, thanks for the kind words. I'm glad you love the show. We love it when you're in the chat room. All right, Candy, some thoughts about Tom Brady looking at the Jags as number 2.
Yeah, I don't think they're number 2 either, but I do think they're up there. They're very much improved over what they were, but I don't put them as high as number 2.
What about you, Tommy?
Yeah, I don't know what he's basing that on, but that's surprising. I wouldn't even put him over the Bills. I expect the Bills to beat them.
Funny how you say that, because a few years ago I was up there. I covered the Bills and the Jaguars. Jaguars ended up beating them 10-3. I actually spent some time with Ian Eagle actually at halftime and before the game we were talking about it. But that's okay. It's interesting how they're playing each other again. All right, go ahead, Ben.
I mean, they might be number 2 when Tom Brady's hard. They're not number 2 in no league. Number 2? No. Denver, Buffalo. I mean, you talk about the Eagles, you talk about the Seahawks. Stop it. I mean, listen, once again, Tom Brady's producers like, you got to say something to get some clicks. All right. I think the Jaguars are the number 2 team in the league. There it is. Thank you. No. And I respect what the Jags are doing. I respect what Liam Cohen doing in year 1. Number 2? No, they might not. They might be number 2 in their division. Houston might be better than them because they came back. So no, they're not number 2.
Okay, Steven.
I don't know where he's doing this. You know, maybe I know he's out there on the West Coast. Maybe he was smoking a little reefer in between it, and they just got Tom going on a rant. I mean, listen, like, you know, we have to talk about a team that was 4-13 last year, right? They're made obviously strong turnarounds. The head coach, you got the Ken Barbie doll back there actually looking like a quarterback this year. I get it. They're a nice underdog to pull for. 2, and I won't even put Buffalo on that. They're going to be one and done. You know, they're 0-8 in the playoffs under Sean McDermott, right? 0-8 in the playoffs. So anyone who wants to talk about Buffalo, you know, potentially being one of the top teams left in the playoffs. I like Seattle. Everything has to go through Seattle. They have a defense to show for it. I think if you're painting me in a corner and saying the top 2 from each conference, it's Seattle and Denver because they have the defenses to do it. So, 2, yeah, no.
Okay.
You know, I might go with Eddie and have the Jags there at 6, but it's hard when you have all these Johnny come latelys, these young blood, when they haven't shown you everything over a period of time. They haven't had the consistent winning. The only consistent winner that is in the playoffs right now is the Philadelphia Eagles. They're the only divisional winner that has returned from last season. Right? You know, the Rams are there. They have every right to be. The Green Bay Packers, they're taping up Jordan Love and throwing him out there against the Chicago Bears. So I know Earl's in there and he wants to give the Steelers some loves. So, you know, here's the thing. They got 97-year-old Aaron Rodgers a quarterback, so we don't know how that's going to play out either. I know they get their head case wide receiver back who can't control his emotions, even if you pay him $40-some-odd million to do so. I like the Jaguars. I think they do win their wild card matchup, but I will not put them in number 2. I like Eddie's list here too. You know, Philadelphia. I can't put New England there. I can't. Drake May hasn't done anything in the playoffs. Anything.
Yeah, I like where
And if I remember correctly, they had the easiest schedule in the NFL this year. They played 2 winning teams during the regular season, and that was Buffalo. So I'm not going to put New England there, Eddie. I love you to death, brother. I love you, but we'll see how that plays out. But Jaguars 2, no.
Yeah, I've got them at 4 or 5. Next rapid fire topic, Steve. If you're capable of it, just do mini rapid fire.
No, yeah, I'm not capable of it.
I know that's okay. I cater to your strengths. That's okay. But anyway, I really do. Katie gets a kick out of the back and forth with Steven and I. After all, he's the heir apparent to me, and I'm proud of it. So it's all good. Anyways, the Saints found their quarterback one. The first Saints quarterback to win 4 in a row since Drew Brees, and we're talking about Tyler Shuck. Some thoughts, Marvin?
Yeah, I went out to go see him play last week against Atlanta. It didn't go well, but listen, I think this guy may be the guy. And when they drafted him, I'm not going to lie to you, they had a viral clip of him making just an error throw, a horrible pass, and that's really all I had seen in this kid in college was this viral clip and not so much. And he didn't look great. This kid's a gamer, man. Athletic kid, tall kid. Out there throwing 300-yard games against Ben's Titans. This kid absolutely may be it. He looks like he has the stuff, man. I like to see him how he came back second half of that Tennessee game. I'd like to watch him as he's come out of a little adversity. He has some tools out there. I think the Saints have found their man. Yes.
Candy?
It's always hard to say on these new rookie quarterbacks how they're going to perform, especially knowing that they have different coaches. NFL is a different game. But yeah, I think there's potential there.
What about you, Tommy?
I think the best thing he's got going for him is he played for Jeff Brom in Louisville. So he came into the NFL better prepared than most college quarterbacks, and it looks like it's paying off.
Ben?
Yeah, I think he is going to be the guy. I think he had a lot of unfair criticism because everybody thought that Shedeur Sanders was going to get drafted. The way he got drafted, he went to a team that, didn't really have a lot going for him. Alvin Kamara was hurt all year. Tyrann Mathieu retired before the year started. And Kellen Moore, he got a brand new head coach with Kellen Moore. But he did what he was asked to do. Every game they won was because he played well, and every game they lost, it wasn't because he didn't play well. So yeah, I do think once they get some guys around him, yes, they finished 4th in the division, but the Falcons, the Bucks, and the NFC South winners, Panthers all was 8-9. So so 3 teams tied for 8-9. So yeah, Tyler Shuck is going to be a guy that I think is going to be able to make some noise. I just think you got to get some players around him. Chris Olave did go over 1,000 yards. I know he didn't play in the last game of the season. Tyler Shuck is saying, look, man, all I did is got drafted, did the best I could with what I was given. And he wasn't given much. But guess what? You know how he's a good quarterback? Who's picking first in the draft? Oh, that would be the Raiders. Because everybody thought it was going to be New Orleans, right? Even though you're a bottom feeder in your division, but it's not because you didn't play well. I can get behind a guy like that. Hopefully 2026 will be much different than 2025 for him because they're going to hopefully give him some weapons in the draft and in free agency.
Steven?
Again, I'm going to go kind of like right back to where I was with the last one when we were doing these lists. Like, we can't, listen, it's 1 year. How are we sitting there saying anybody has filled the heir apparent role for Drew Brees? Because no one's been able to do it yet. No one's been able to sit there and say that that they've officially fixed the quarterback problem down there in New Orleans. Try to bring David Carr in, he wasn't the answer. He went there with shoulder problems and basically stole money from them. If you want to ask me, for all intents and purposes. Not to sit there and say that he can't or won't, because I've been trying to make sure Kellen Moore doesn't get fired after 2 seasons, just because the turnover rate of head coaches is extremely high, and then when you have that situation with quarterbacks, you can't build any trust or rapport with them, because then the coach that you come in, they want their guy, not the guy that before had him, and then you have these quarterbacks running all over the place that don't get any real structure when you're being built up. So I'm not going to throw this kid under the bus and sit there and say he's terrible, he's garbage, or anything like that. But like what you've seen from him the first year, we'll have to see what the sophomore year looks like, and hopefully they're able to get some more pieces around them, keep them upright, get a little bit better on defense, and who knows what the New Orleans Saints could be next year. But I'm pretty sure that as long as Kellen Moore's the coach down there in New Orleans, that he's probably going to be the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints coming into 2026.
Right. And you know what, Stephen, I'll add to that. The only thing we're talking about relative comparison is won 4 in a row, and the last guy to do it was Drew Brees. Derek Carr, yeah, he definitely walked in there and stole a few bucks. And the best thing that Schalke has going is Kellen Moore for sure. I really like Kellen Moore as a coach. And when you have a coach and a quarterback, head coach quarterback combo, I think you're all right too. We have one more topic, maybe 2 to go. The Miami Dolphins are expected to release Tyreek Hill once the season ends. All right, Marvin, what are your thoughts about them releasing him and where he could end up going?
Listen, Tyreek Hill, it's a situation where the Dolphins have to clean house. He's had some incidents, and he's had a couple of media failures, if you ask me, just things he posts and he displays. Listen, if the guy's healthy, he's explosive. And I mean, he's different type of explosive. So any other team can use this guy in regards to what he can do on the field. The issue is, you wonder, do you have the beginnings of an Antonio Brown type situation? Have you had that? But the coaches have done a good job keeping it on the wraps. He's had some things go viral, but I don't think are a good look. Again, him leaving, it doesn't surprise me. Just seeing how I think they need to fix a lot of things. But if he got his mind right and he's focused, there are 31 teams that can use him, including my New York Jets. But the question is, do you want those headaches? Do you want a repeat of what you've seen already? Because people show you who they are. Just look at their past. And I know people change and people evolve and all that, and I believe in that. I do. But some of these people, man, some guys just can't get right. And I wonder if Tyreek Hill's a guy who can't get right.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say to this is this. If he has any sense at all, and I don't know if he does, the only place he should go back to is Kansas City with Andy Reid and forget the rest. Andy Reid could tolerate him, and Andy Reid and the Chiefs could probably use him, considering the fact that they're not in the playoffs. We'll talk more about the coaching situation next week as well on Inside the Pigskin. Candy?
Yeah, Tyreek, Miami is a dumpster fire right now. They have so many problems, so many issues. It's kind of surprising that McDaniel is still coming back, even though I believe they fired their GM. So I believe Chris Greer is out. McDaniel is still in. Tua is saying he's open to, going to a different team. Tyreek, I don't know if it's just a change of scenery that he needs. I could see it being hard for him, but I think he needs to go to a place where he could be very disciplined. I don't know that he would welcome that, but I think that's kind of what he kind of needs. It reminds me of like Antonio Brown when he was going around and stuff like that. But he is a good runner. He's over his career, he's got 11,363 yards. So receiving. So it's not like he can't, and he rushed for 819. So I think he still has things in the tank. It just is what team is going to want to bring him on and can, how should I say that, keep him in check, so to speak.
Okay, let me go to the comment, and I'll address it on my own right now about what Rick asked. Who would you recommend for the Browns coach. Brian Flores would be at the top of my list. He really would. He deserves an opportunity. You don't put Dion on there. That's a circus waiting to happen with him and Shador. That's one thing you don't do. And I know they're going to be interviewing Jeff Monken, but you know what, Rick, we'll go ahead and keep tabs on this story, and hopefully we can have more answers. As far as your second comment is concerned, yeah, you nailed that one right on the head. How do you go an entire year without an interception? We'll talk about that more in detail next week. You don't. Glenn, I thought, one of the things was a defensive guy. I think there's more to Glenn than meets the eye for sure, Rick. So, that's what I have now. But please don't hesitate to bring those up on next Tuesday night's edition of Inside the Pigskin. But I'm glad you addressed them right now. We'll see how it all plays out. Okay, go ahead, Tommy.
It's a variation of the old expression, Tyreek Hill saying hello when others are saying goodbye. If it was just his injury that he had to come back, people would take a lot closer look at him. But he has so many question marks about his attitude and behavior. He may run himself out of the league.
Yeah, I think so too. Back to Rick again. They didn't fire McDaniel because they know no serious coach wants to walk into that garbage. Well, I wouldn't disagree with them there either. Katie said it's a dumpster file. They'd rather wait with the number 1 pick in 2027 that the fans will probably get. Well, you never know. Candy said it. They're a dumpster fire, and they're making all kinds of changes. They finished 7-10. Go ahead, Ben.
They better not release it. They better find a way to get somebody to trade him. I mean, with as much as you've been through with a guy like Tyreek Hill, you giving him 2 contract extensions since he's been there. Now you're going to just dump him? No, you can get some value for him. Yes, I mean, the type of things he's done, but what they say when production is high, tolerance is high. Now, he ain't been out there for a year, and I get you have to have a strong. I just think that when it comes to Tyreek Hill and Mike McDaniel, I think he just not just him. I think a lot of that team doesn't really respect Mike McDaniel. They respect this title. They don't respect him. I think you find a way to trade Tyreek Hill. Somebody will get him because number one, I don't know how much money is left in guarantees in that contract. I think all the guaranteed money was front loaded, not back loaded. So I think you find a way to get some trade equity for a guy like Tyreek Hill. Look, Tyreek Hill at 75% is still better than most guys at 100% with the type of player he is. Now, once you trade him, that's no longer but you want to get some type of value for him. I just think that to just let a guy like that walk when you see players that's not on his level get traded, so I think you find a way to trade Stephen Ross. Do something, because everybody want to talk about getting rid of GM. We just talked about Mr. Lurie and the type of owner he is. Mr. Ross is not that. Oh no, he is not that. I'm just talking about his decisions that he's made. So find a way to get some trade value for Tyreek Hill, because if Tyreek Hill hit the street, he gonna be on another team before he get to his car. Somebody is going to snatch that, because you can get him for cheap, and then hopefully a low risk, high reward. Hopefully, no matter what team he goes to. But I think they find a way to trade for him.
Steven.
I think the whole team's going to get blown up. Let's be honest. You saw the writing on the wall when Jalen Phillips got traded right here to Philadelphia, right? The fact of what you've seen happen at the quarterback position at the end of the year. I'm sorry, Marvin. Tua is going to be a Jet. I promise you. Y'all going to switch quarterbacks. Y'all going to Fields is going to go to Miami. Y'all going to wind up with Tua. I promise you, that's what's going to happen. If I'm wrong, we can come back and revisit that. You can tell me how stupid I am. I'll eat that. But that's just my gut feeling. What's going to happen there? As far as Tyreek Hill, I'm with Ben Troop. If you're Miami, I don't care what you have to do. You have to get some type of compensation back. You cannot cut him. You cannot let him walk. You have to at the least get a 3rd or 4th round draft pick for him and try to replace him through the draft that way, or trade up or use that pick to kind of trade up to go get somebody to replace a Tyreek Hill. He's probably not going to be the same guy, obviously, when you're coming off of a nasty injury to like he had to his knee from a guy who's a speed receiver, as the way he is. I think if you're going to if and it is whoever's going to wind up with him. It's going to be, low risk, high reward type situation. But he will be on an NFL team that in 2026. It just will not be with the Miami Dolphins. Jalen Waddle, on the other hand, I don't know what the future is going to hold for him. I don't know if you're going to see a draft day trade or something to that effect. But I agree with one thing, is that team is going to be completely blown up from head to toe, and you guys are right. The owner down there in Miami is absolutely stupid. I don't know how you could still believe in McDaniels at this point in time. He's not a leader of men. He doesn't rally the troops. There's nothing about him that says what could be. Actually, you know what? I'll give you that one, Earl, because they just restructured Kirk's contract, so there could be a potential of that happening too. But
don't. This is a family show. Don't bring up Kirk Cousins. This is a family show. We're trying to keep things on the up and up. Let's not do that.
All right. So you know what?
That's not a good decision.
So you know what?
What?
So you know what? Since Steven mentioned that, this is a rapid fire, and this one better be rapid fire, Steven, because you already let the cat out of the bag on this one, but I'm going to mention it anyways. And that's this. Should the Miami Dolphins have accepted this trade offer from the Buffalo Bills, Buffalo would get Jalen Waddle. Miami would get a 2027 first-round pick, 2026 third-round pick. Steven, you talked about him. Give me a yes or a no with a sentence to follow it.
Miami's front office is stupid. Stupid. A first and a third for Waddle right now? Are you kidding me? And you turn that down? Man, this is what I'm talking about with this organization. Absolutely ridiculous. They have no direction. They're playing darts in a tornado. Let's see what happens. Oh, I just hit myself in the eye. Absolutely ridiculous. Stupid. Next.
There you go. Really, seriously, really, I'll have to get you a hat along those lines too. But okay. All right, Ben, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree. I mean, you could have got a first and a third for Jalen Waddle, and you got a clean house anyway. Mr. Ross, what are you doing, sir? You sound like you work for the Falcons.
Okay. Well, there you go, Tommy.
Yeah, I can't add anything to that. It's a head shaker.
Candy.
He does not know what he's doing.
Yeah.
A first and a third for Waddle. You definitely every day of the week take that.
Marvin.
Yeah, listen, he's an explosive player, really a great speed, but yeah, that's too much value being offered. The reality is they trade quarterbacks for less than that. So yeah, they should have taken that offer.
Yeah, that's a trade that should have been made. But you know what the best part about this rapid fire topic is it gives me a chance to have Tom Shanahan talk about the Shanahan Report. Mr. Shanahan has now become a writer for us as well. So you can see his content, South Florida Tribune, under contributing writers, right, Candy? So Tommy, go ahead, give us a Shanahan Report. And he will be on tomorrow night's edition of the Sports Exchange, right, Tommy?
Yep, Tom Shanahan .report, Twitter, Shanny4055. Got a story on my website, and it'll be on South Florida about Trinidad Chambliss and his journey from Ferris State to Ole Miss, and how it overlaps with Gideon Smith, who was the first black who came from Hampton, Virginia, son of a slave, first black player at Ferris State, and Trinidad Chambliss walked in his footsteps. And then Eric Marshall was from Oxford, Mississippi, couldn't play for Mississippi back then because of segregation. Rode Duffy Doherty's Underground Railroad to Michigan State. He was always a backup to Jimmy Ray and Steve Jude, but he was a part of those great Spartan teams.
Great stuff. Okay, well, you know what, Eddie? A lot of people don't want Raheem Morris or Jim Schwartz. I have a feeling no. Morris will wind up somewhere, but his head coaching days are over with. That's for Jim Schwartz. He could end up being the coach of the Browns. We'll see. All right, Ben, let everybody know how they get a hold of you.
I don't know how you get a hold of me on X anymore because I've been hacked 3 or 4 times, so I don't really know how to. But at Ben True84 on Instagram, you can follow me on Facebook as well at Ben Troop or Troop Talk. And look, just keep listening to me on the fan in the end. Myself, Marvin, Steven, just being troopers around the corner. I get to talk a little trash about about college football, all things college football, culture, traditions, thing around it. And my website is www.idonthaveawebsite.com.
But you have a great hat. All right, go ahead, Steven. Love that hat.
I was asking about I think Earl was in there asking about a book, and Ben isn't writing a book. He already wrote a book. But as far as me, it's really simple. Type in my name, Stephen Rochelle, Facebook, Instagram. It's always the same. On YouTube, on TikTok and X, it's Steve Sports Talk 1. Again, you can always find me here on the South Florida Tribune every Monday for the J&S Philly Sports Stop. Every Tuesday here on Inside the Pigskin. Wednesday it's me, Ben, and Marvin for the fan in the end. We got another fun interview coming this Thursday because we're actually going to be talking to former Miami Hurricanes linebacker Mr. David Gilbert's going to be joining us. Saturday, I'm going to be talking to BKFC fighter Josh Oxenworth, and next week we got Phillies pitcher Tommy Green on for a special show of Real and the Rare as well. So keep it locked in here, my friends. Like, subscribe, share. Make sure you're showing us love. Do not miss on all the content we have here.
Great stuff. See, you makes your job a lot easier, Candy. Great stuff. All right, we'll go to Marvin, and Candy takes us home.
Social media, Marvin Powell III, Marvin on the mic. As Scott has already said, Scott and Steve, you can catch me here with the South Florida Tribune Tuesday evenings, Wednesday mornings, twice Wednesday evening, and then Saturday morning. You can also catch me with Bucks, Jags, Kings, and Nets roundtable as well. Love doing this stuff with you guys.
Yeah, we're on a couple more too. By the way, Ben, it's great to have you on for an entire show, man. It was awesome, man. You nailed it. You're our hero tonight for making it on all night, Ben. What can I say?
Man, I'm with the squad. I mean, we got the Rolls Royce right there in the right corner. We got Marv, we got Tom, we got Steven, we got yourself. Hey, listen, whenever I can be here the whole time, I'm here. And listen, and whoever invented Wi-Fi, wherever you are, when I catch you, I'm gonna beat the hell out of you. Because me,
it's good. Anyway, Ben, it's great to have you, man. I'm glad you're on my team.
Humble to be with the best. Humble to be with the best.
I'm glad you're on our team, my team, Ben. I'm telling you, there's a spot for you in the next book I'll be writing. All right, Katie, take us home.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. It talks about his 40-plus years in the media business and how it has evolved, old school media versus new school media. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. So go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. But most importantly, if you see that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, click it, like us, share us, and then turn on your notifications so you're notified every time we go live. One last plug. If you like listening to women or chicks talking sports, go over to the Chicks Podcast YouTube channel. Tuesday nights at 7:30 before this show, I join the chicks and we all talk sports. So go give us a subscribe too, please.
Well, Marvin and I can be busy the rest of the week. I get him on the Sports Exchange. I get Steven and him on No Limit tomorrow. And, of course, we have our big killer show on Saturday, Inside the Pigskin. That does it for us. So thank you very much for joining us. And, yes, Marvin, you are a GOT, greatest of all time. I'll vouch for you there, pal. Great stuff. Salute to you, Rick Diaz. Hope you're subscribed to our channel. If you haven't, please do so. You know all the updates that you're a superstar tonight. Much appreciated. God bless everybody. That does it for us tonight on Inside the Pigskin. See you tomorrow night with all new programming. Good night, everybody.